Welcome back, trainers. So we're going to be going over Earth Power and how good is it? Do you want it over Earthquake? Because there has been quite a few questions from you guys regarding this specific move here. So there is going to be a couple new Pokemon that can learn this. That's going to be Nidoking, Nidoqueen, Aerodactyl, and as well as Claydol. So, and there's going to be a couple others as well, like Camerupt, but those are the more relevant ones, okay? There's also going to be a chance of lowering the opponent's defense. It's not going to be guaranteed, but there's going to be a chance, and obviously that's only going to be for PvP. Now we're going to go ahead and head over to Game Press for this first half of the video to see what we have as far as the best ground attackers, and then we're going to look at Earth Power to see if you're going to want to have that. I'm going to tell you right now, Earth Power is going to trump Earthquake in every situation, especially when you're going into PvE. That's going to be going up against gyms and raids, because Earth Power is going to be a double charge move, and it's not going to take as much energy. Therefore, you're going to be able to spam it a lot quicker. Now, when it comes to PvP, the energy cost is not going to be as great. And the thing about Earthquake is it's ridiculously strong. And in PvP, in most cases, it's just going to be a little bit, it's going to just completely destroy your opponent. So Earth Power taking less energy and still doing quite a significant amount is going to be within your best interest. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at that. And yes, I know I was calling Garbite. I'm just calling it Garbite. I know it's Garbite, right? I just tendency to call it that. Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and hop over into Game Press. All right, so we are over here on the Game Press. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of the best ground attackers currently in Pokemon Go. So sitting at the #1 spot, we have Groudon with Mudshot and Earthquake, sitting at 13.957 DPS. And then you have the TDO there. And then we have Garchomp, the newly added Gen 4 Pokemon, which is pretty amazing, with Mudshot and Earthquake, taking that #2 spot away from Mamoswine. And you can see the TPS there, not too far behind from Groudon, which is quite amazing. And the TDO is a little bit behind as well from Garchomp. Then we have Mamoswine with Mudslap and Bulldoze, and that is coming in 3rd place. Then we have Rhyperior, Mudslap and Earthquake, Rhydon, Mudslap and Earthquake, Donphin with its newly added Quick Move. Well, I wouldn't say too new, but it's a new addition. Mudslap and Earthquake, Golem, Mudshot and Earthquake, Swampert, Mudshot and Earthquake, Dugtrio, Mudslap, and Mudbomb, and then Golem, Mudslap, and Earthquake for the first row here. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the Earth Power to see where that lands. You're not going to see any pure ground attackers with Earth Power because there is none. It's weird. So let's go ahead and go over that. Okay, so now what we have here is just the best ground attackers regarding their charge moves. Okay, so the quick moves are just going to be whatever, and then we're just going to go over their charge moves. And this time around, we're going to see Earth Power showing up on the first page. So we have Garchomp with Dragon Tail and Earthquake, and then Groudon with Dragon Tail and Earthquake, Mudshot, Earthquake, Groudon, Rhyperior, Smackdown, Earthquake, Garchomp, Mudshot, and Earthquake. And then we have the first Earth Power showing up, and that is going to be Nidoking with Poison Jab and Earth Power. So it is going to be doing a lot better than its current set with just Earthquake. So that's going to be something to take note of there. And then we have Mamoswine, Mudshot, and Bulldoze. So yeah, Nidoking is looking pretty good, guys. As far as Earth Power goes, it is going to be a double charge move for PvE, and for PvP, it is going to be a single charge bar. All right. And then we have another Nidoking with Fury Cutter and Earth Power, Mamoswine, Powder Snow, and Bulldoze. And then Rhyperior with Mudslap and Earthquake. Let's go ahead and take a look at page 2 because we have other Earth Power users. And then finally showing up again, Iron Tail, Earth Power, Nidoking. So as you can see, Nidoking is going to be able to shine quite a bit with its newly added Earth Power move here. Currently, I do not have any TMs, so I can't really do any significant tests for you at the moment. But hopefully in the future, I will be able to, since we have this raid week coming up. There should be a lot more raids, obviously, hanging about. So maybe we will be able to get some charge TMs for once. There was no mention of them being increased for the drop rate for the rewards during this whole raid event. So that's unfortunate. That would have been a really nice touch there, seeing that people are very desperate for these TMs at the moment, seeing that we're getting all these new moves introduced, as well as the Blaziken and its Blaze Kick. And a lot of people are running through their TMs trying to get that move, and including myself in that video that I made yesterday. And then we have Camerupt showing up as well with Earth Power and Ember. And Nidoqueen finally making an appearance with Poison Jab and Earth Power. And yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead and go into page 2 here. And we have another camera up with Earth Power, and Claydol's not going to be showing up because the thing is, it's great for PvP. All right, that's something to take note of. But as far as damage output in PvE, it's not looking too great. So you are going to see the performance here shortly, though. And then moving on down, we have Hippowdon finally making an appearance with Bite and Earthquake, and the Earth Powers have kind of like washed out. So there you have it. If you're wondering what's better, Earthquake or Earth Power, well, that's most definitely going to be Earth Power. If that specific Pokemon can learn it, it is going to be the better option to go with for sure. Because in PvP, you're going to be able to get to it a lot quicker because the energy cost does not cost as much. And in PvE, it's going to be a double charge move, and you're going to be able to spam that a lot quicker than Earthquake, making it better in that regard. So there you have it regarding Earth Power. If you're wondering, should you TM it and try to get it on the current Pokemon that can learn it? If you're looking for something that's going to be dealing ground type damage, then yes, you're going to definitely want to be going with Earth Power. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Nightmare Cup tournament here. We'll be getting into that Earth Power with the Claydol towards the end. So I felt like leading with a fighting type Pokemon was going to be a comfortable position. My team's going to be to the left, hers is going to be to the right. As you can see, a good amount of the Pokemon are going to be weak to fighting. The Alolan Muck as well as the Skuntank aren't going to be necessarily directly weak to fighting, but they will be taking a significant amount of damage, as well as reduced damage to the fighting types unless she hits me up with Flamethrower on the Skuntank. Or a poison move with the Alolan Muck. And we're going in here. We're locked in. I'm okay losing that Toxicroak because we're pretty much going to be able to finish off that Poliwrath with the Thunder Punch coming in here. Coming in with the Alolan Muck. And this is what I was talking about with the fighting types going up against it. We're looking great. Hitmonchan is putting in work. And this is going to be a very favorable matchup for you going up against the Muck there. So we will be finishing it off with the power-up punches and moving into the next round. I did decide to just go with the same team. Felt like that was pretty solid. She's starting it off with the Skuntank and retreating right away. And going into Machamp, I will be going into Toxicroak because I will be taking reduced damage from both fighting and rock moves. And that is what I plan to do here. And we're not going to use that charge. Going to wait for the next Pokemon. We are ready to go and burn a shield on that Umbreon, which we successfully do. And I was pretty sure there was no last resort on it, so I took note of that. So that Sludge Bomb is going to be going through here. And we're not going to shield up. The Toxicroak is down for the count. It did what it needed to do. And comes the Drapion, and I did decide to just farm energy off of the Umbreon here with the Infestation doing super effective damage. And like I said, there is no last resort, so we're pretty comfortable there. In comes our last Pokemon, which is going to be the Skuntank. And I didn't realize it was our last Pokemon. You're going to see what happened. I kind of farmed a lot of energy and just finished it off with Infestation, thinking there was another Pokemon for some reason. But as you can see, you can spam Aqua Tail at an extreme rate. I do believe at this point, I started to farm energy. And I could have just finished it off with Aqua Tail here. And it was before it was too late. I realized, oh yeah, that was the last Pokemon. And down goes the Skuntank, and I make it through with the Drapion there. So going into the next match here, Trainer John, he's going to be starting it off with the Alolan Raticate, and I had started off with Hitmonchan. Perfect matchup. He's going into the Breloom, and we are going to take that Dynamic Punch. Not very effective, but with Breloom's massive attack, it did do quite a bit of damage here. In comes the Drapion. We're going to go ahead and do that super effective Mud Bomb here. And it does have Poison Sting, so you probably want to run Infestation. All right, so you will be getting a lot more energy. So down goes the Toxicroak, putting in work onto that Alolan Raticate. We'll be finishing off with Hitmonchan and the Power-Up Punch and Counter. So that's going to be a good first round. Moving it into the second round here, starting it off with Hitmonchan yet again. He's going in with the Raichu, and I do decide to go in with the Drapion, doing super effective with the Infestation here. And he's going to be hitting up with Wild Charge. That was a good call on the shield on my end. And he does go into Toxicroak. Now, Toxicroak will be putting work onto that Drapion with Counter as well as that Mud Bomb, super effective. But that's all right. We were going to be able to spam that Aqua Tail. So we're looking okay. We'll be shielding that up here. I didn't want the Drapion to fade away quite yet. I am down to no shields, and he has one left. Let's see if he does shield this up. He does, so we're looking great here. The Drapion is going to obviously go down, and I will be going in here with Toxicroak, I do believe. Oh, Hitmonchan, okay. So it is ready to go with some charge moves. In comes the Raichu, and we're going to just go for that power-up punch. Not very effective, but that's okay. We have another one back-to-back, and that is going to be game. So, oh, never mind. Sneasel coming in, goes down immediately, so good game there. Next opponent is going to be McBadass, so I felt like Hitmonchan was going to be a good lead for this one as well. This Grumpig was a threat, as well as the Xatu, but I do have Thunder Punch, as well as the Raichu on my side, and as well as Thunder Punch on my Hitmonchan. He is leading with Shiftry, and we are in a great position, so we're going to not be able to get off our last charge. That's okay here, going in with the Alolan Raichu, and this is a very favorable matchup for me, although he can't hit me up with that ominous wind. He doesn't decide to shield, and the Shiftry goes down immediately. In comes Poliwrath, and I was so happy that I picked the Alolan Raichu. Made a good team choice here. And we do have another shield, which we will be using, because we want to take that Poliwrath out with that Thunder Punch at this point. And that's going to be a first good game there. Moving it into the next round here, I'm going to be starting it off with a Raichu. Yet again, another great choice for me here. And he's going to be switching into Shiftry, in which case I will be countering it with Hitmonchan and putting in work here. I wanted to finish it off with just quick moves and save my charge for the next Pokemon. And I just immediately go for Thunder Punch without even seeing it. It was still a good call onto the Xatu. He does use his shield nonetheless. And I was not able to get to that Thunder Punch again, but I do have a Raichu with Thunder Punch ready to go. He does use his last shield there, I do believe, hitting me up with that super effective Ominous Wind, and I'll be able to get another Thunder Punch onto that Xatu and taking it down. In comes the Toxicroak, and I was able to get to a Thunder Punch yet again. That Alolan Raichu is just nasty, and he does get off his charge. Now, we're discussing this on how you should save your charge if the opponent does have a little bit of shields, but if you both hit your charge move at the same time, it's you pretty much are locked in there. You have no choice but to use it, and that's the case and why he used it on that Alolan Raichu with such little health. So good games. Next up, we have Bone Chip. So I felt like Drapion was a great lead. The only thing that was going to be really tearing me apart with the Drapion is going to be Toxicroak, and he does switch into it. So I go into my Hypno here. We're going to be able to finish it off with Confusions, and we're not going to even be able to get to a charge. I do decide to shield that up. See what he's going to bring in next here. Do believe it's going to be the Claydol. There we go, and it does have Earth Power. So we're going to do that super effective Shadow Ball here. He does shield it up, and you're going to see something very unfortunate happening here in just a second. Hitting me up with Earth Power, doing a decent amount of damage, but Hypno's a tank and able to make it through. Getting to that Shadow Ball again, and he does shield it up using both of his shields here. So he does want to preserve that Claydol. And my Shadow Ball is ready, but the confusion animation so long I was not able to get it off, unfortunately. So ouch. In comes my Drapion, immediately hitting it up with Aqua Tail. It's going to be super effective. I didn't want to waste any time getting to that Crunch. I know he has no more shields. It probably would have been the better option to probably go for that. He does switch into Tyranitar. The quick switch, I did go for Aqua Tail. Super effective. Hitmonchan coming in. Stone Edge, not very effective, and the Claydol is barely surviving and able to get off another Earth Power, and that's going to be a good first game. Very close there and ready with that power-up punch. Moving into the next round here, you're going to see he gets a double boost on the Xatu, but it doesn't really make a difference. I would have lost this match anyway, and I was thinking, should I lead with Drapion? He's probably thinking, I'm going to lead with Drapion. I should probably go something opposite, but I should have went with my judgment, and that was a bad call. But in comes the Xatu here. Definitely going to be going for that Shadow Ball, and he does shield it up. He's going to be getting his first Ominous Wind off here and get the boost. There we go. And at this point, I was like, it's game over. It's done. But you keep fighting on. So down goes my Hypno. In comes the Drapion here. Going to be going for the Crunch. I should have went for Aqua Tail. Seeing that he got the boost, people tend to use all their shields or whatever remaining shields they do have to preserve that boosted Pokemon. I do go for the Crunch here, and not even able to take it out with that second boost that it did receive. In comes the Hitmonchan here. That's the last Pokemon I have. It's not looking great. Thunder Punch, not very effective. Power Up Punch, not very effective. Even if I had Ice Punch, it's still not happening. So he played his cards well, like he usually does, and that's going to be a good game. Moving it on to the next one, you have Edgar Martinez. So I felt like Hitmonchan was going to be a good lead going up against this team. The only thing I did not want to see was that Toxicroak, which he went in there with. Very smart play. I do make the switch into Hypno. He goes into Skunk Tank. And I am going to try to get to that Focus Blast here. I'm going to let this Crunch go through. And I do want my Hypno to go down immediately. I just wanted to either burn a shield or get a Focus Blast onto that Skunk Tank. So everything's working out as planned. I'm winning out that switch clock, going in with Toxicroak here, doing great damage with that counter. I was debating whether or not I wanted to use a charge, and he did go for that flamethrower. So I was like, okay, I can either keep countering and finish it off with that and save my charge for the next Pokemon, or just be safe and go with that. And in comes the Toxicroak immediately going down. In comes the Umbreon here. We do have a shield left, so we're looking fantastic. And he is going to let that go through. He does have one more shield on that Umbreon there if he decided to use it. We're going to go for Mud Bomb again, try to burn that shield, which we do. And I do decide to shield up my Toxicroak and try to finish it off with that Mud Bomb here or counters. But he was able to get to Foul Play again, taking down my Toxicroak. In comes Hitmonchan and finishing it off there. Into the next match. See what we have going on here. I do believe this is going to be the last of them, folks. So I do make that Hitmonchan start. He's going in with Poliwrath, and that is going to be because I had Thunder Punch. That's why I keep picking this in certain situations, going up against those Poliwraths there. It's going to be doing a decent amount of damage. He wasn't expecting that. He's like, oh, and I was like, yeah, yep, Thunder Punch. Took me about 15 charge TMs to finally get it. That Toxicroak is putting on work to me. I'm going to go ahead and go for Thunder Punch. That's going to be neutral damage, as opposed to not very effective with the Power Up Punch. In comes the Hypno. He's making an immediate switch, and I switch into my Toxicroak here, seeing that he does have a Pokemon down, and I do want to preserve that Hypno to take out that Toxicroak. So we are going to be using the Mud Bomb, finishing off that Skuntank here, but he does decide to shield. That was his last shield, so we can go ahead and finish it off with quick moves. He is going to hit me up with Flamethrower. That's why I decided to do that. And in comes Toxicroak. Should have went for Mud Bomb, but I go for the Sludge Bomb, finish it off. That's going to be a good game. And here we have a group picture of all the participants. So Bone Chip taking first, myself getting second, and then Scarlet Witch getting third. And yet again, thank you to Elliegantly for putting these tournaments together. And I did have some trouble with that Earth Power Claydol. As you've seen, it is actually fairly good. So if you're deciding whether or not you want to use it, you may just want to go with it. But always remember, just because you're putting in something that's pretty good doesn't mean it's going to be working great with your whole team composition. And with that said, trainers, I'd like to say thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and a big shout out to Warehouse 49 for letting us have these tournaments in their establishment. If you're looking to do some LAN parties for PC or consoles, they have a plethora of different setups for you to have some fun with your friends there, as well as a snack bar. So maybe you want to give them a look-see if you're in Anchorage and are looking to have some LAN parties. I'll have a link in the description. With that said, trainers, thank you for watching, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.